Hello students, today we will learn some tips and tricks in physics. So for the NEET examination, the time management is very important. The time is limited. You have to attempt 45 questions in physics. So you have to read the question, pick up the numerical values, then you have to think about formula, what formula to use, and what concept is needed to solve that question. You may have to visualize what is going on. Like suppose if there is a block and pulley question, so you have to visualize how many blocks are there, two blocks or three blocks, where is the pulley and how the string is going over the pulley, which block is going up, which block is going down, or which block is going left or right. So all these things need time to think, to write on the paper, to solve the question. So time is important. So some questions are can some questions can be solved in a very less time if you know the direct formula, if you can identify the model model of the question. There are some fixed models in physics. So let's discuss one question from vector, because a vector is the very basic of physics and we call it basic mathematics also. So let's discuss one question based on resultant of a vector which is perpendicular to one of the vectors. Resultant is perpendicular to one of the vector. So we will use parallelogram law, because when we deal with angles between two vectors, we don't consider triangle law, we consider parallelogram law. So two vectors are there, so angle between them is there. When the tails are coinciding, so they have common tail, and the resultant is also there. So there is angle between resultant and one of the vector, and there is angle between resultant and other vector. So let's draw. Let's imagine this is a vector, a vector. This is the resultant. Resultant is perpendicular to one of the vector. So which vector? A vector. Resultant is perpendicular to a vector. Now we know that in parallelogram law, uh, the resultant is the diagonal. Resultant is the diagonal with common tail. So let's complete the parallelogram. So we have to draw the side of the parallelogram like this. So draw one line parallel to a vector and join the head of r vector with a vector. Then this is the line, and now draw one line parallel to this line, because in parallelogram we have opposite sides equal and parallel. So one line I'm drawing like this. Now these two sides are opposite to each other and also they are equal. Similarly, these two lines are equal and they are parallel. So we have this angle as 90 degree. So in parallelogram law, we denote this angle by alpha, and we denote the angle between a vector and the other vector. Now here is the other vector, that is b vector. This is b vector. So the angle between A vector and B vector is theta. So now you can observe when the resultant is perpendicular to one of the vector, the angle theta is more than 90, because the alpha is 90 and theta is more than 90. Clearly we can see in this diagram. So theta is greater than 90 degree and alpha is equal to 90 degree. Now we have a formula for tan alpha. We know that tan alpha is equal to, we have a formula for that. Now to write tan alpha, first you look in the diagram, the alpha is made by resultant with A vector. Alpha is made by resultant with A vector. So write A first in the denominator. In the denominator you write A here. So alpha is here, so you write A here. Plus the other one B, and here also you write B. Both B and B you write here. Then we have tan here. So you can write sine theta here, and tan means sine by cos. So you write cos theta here, sine theta here, cos theta here. So this is the formula for tan alpha. So you remember this formula. Now alpha is given as 90 degree, alpha is equal to 90 degree. So we have tan alpha is equal to 1 by 0 or not defined. So in maths we say it is not defined, but what value we need here? It is 1 by 0. So 1 by 0 we have to put here. Then we will get 1 by 0 is equal to b sine theta divided by a plus b cos theta. Then do cross multiplication. So a plus b cos theta is equal to 0. So we have b cos theta is equal to minus a. Then we have cos theta is equal to then we have cos theta is equal to minus a by b. So this is the short trick. So you recognize the model in the question. The question will say like this: resultant is perpendicular to one of the vector. Immediately you have to recall that cos theta is minus a by b. Cos theta is equal to minus a by b. So this is one of the short trick. Then we know the formula for resultant also. The resultant formula is given by r square is equal to a square plus b square plus 2ab cos theta. So cos theta we will put minus a by b over here. So r square is equal to a square plus b square plus 2ab into minus a by b. So b and b cancel. So r square is equal to a square plus b square minus 2a square. So r square is equal to b square minus a square. This is another shortcut formula. So now we have two shortcut formula in this video. Cos theta is equal to minus a by b. R square is equal to b square minus a square. Now let's use these two shortcut in the question. So I will write the short trick here. Cos theta is equal to minus a by b, and r square is equal to b square minus a square. Now let's do first question. angle between two vectors is 90° and resultant is perpendicular to one of the vectors. Find ratio of vectors. So in this question we will use the direct shortcut formula. So we have cos theta is equal to minus a by b, and angle given here so let's use a question. Resultant of two vectors is perpendicular to one of the vector a vector, and angle between two vectors is 120°. Find ratio a by b, where a and b are magnitudes of a vector and b vector. So now in this question we'll use the shortcut formula. We just have to find a by b ratio. So we have a formula for this. Cos theta is equal to minus a by b, and the theta given over here is 120. Theta is 120°. So cos 120 is equal to minus a by b, and we know that cos 120 is minus 1 by 2. So minus minus cancel, we'll get a by b is equal to 1 by 2. This is our answer. Find ratio a by b. Now suppose in the same question, if they ask what is the ratio r by b or what is r by a, let's say the question says find ratio r by a and r by b. R is the magnitude of resultant, a is the magnitude of a vector, b is the magnitude of b vector. So how to find r by a and r by b? So the second short trick is there which is r square is equal to b square minus a square, because the resultant makes 90° with a vector. So we have r square is equal to b square minus a square. So now we will put a by b is equal to 1 by 2. A by b is equal to 1 by 2. But we want r by a. So we have to eliminate b. We have to eliminate b. So we can put b is equal to 2a. B is equal to 2a. So r square is equal to 2a square minus a square. So this will be r square is equal to 4a square minus a square. So this is equal to 3a square. So r is equal to root 3 times a, so r by a is equal to root 3. So next, r by b, how to find r by b? So we have a is equal to b by 2. Using this ratio, a by b is 1 by 2, so a is equal to b by 2. We will put it here. So r divided by b by 2 is equal to root 3. So r by b into 2 is equal to root 3. So we have r by b is equal to root 3 by 2. So we got all our answers, r by a, r by b and a by b. Let's do another short trick series in vector itself, in which we will use triangle law. So in triangle law, we know that suppose the three sides of a triangle represents three vectors. So you have to look at the head of those three vectors. Suppose the head of those three vectors are like this. Suppose these are the heads of three vectors. Now identify which vector is in same order and which vector is in opposite order. So suppose, let's say this is A vector, this is B vector, and this is C vector. So we know that if on the head of first there is tail of second, so over here on the head of A there is tail of B. So A vector and B vector are in same order, A vector and B vector are in same order. And we also know that when the heads are coinciding, then they are in opposite order. So for C and B, the heads are coinciding, so they are in opposite order. So we can say C is in opposite order to both A and B, because for C and A, the tails are coinciding, so they are also in opposite order. So C vector and B vector are in opposite order. They are in opposite order, and C vector and A vector are in opposite order. So according to triangle law, the same order vectors are added. So we can say A vector plus B vector, they are added. And the opposite order vector is the resultant. So A vector plus B vector is equal to resultant, so which is C vector. A vector plus B vector is equal to C vector. So this is the relation between A, B and C. So we can call it relation between A vector, B vector and C vector. So A plus B is equal to C. Now how to use this in solving a question? How to use this triangle law in solving a question? So this is a vector topic. Now let's solve one question in which two triangles will be visible. So as you can see, I have drawn one big triangle, then I have drawn another line. So now these two triangles are visible. Let's put arrow. So these are the arrows. So now you can observe there are three vectors. Let's name these vectors A vector, B vector and C vector. They have the common tail over here. And the heads are here. This is the head of A vector. Suppose this point is P. The head of B vector, suppose this point is Q. And the head of C vector, suppose the point is R. And in the question, they have given the Q is the midpoint. Q is the midpoint of PR. Q is the midpoint of PR. So that means length PQ is equal to length QR. Length PQ is equal to length QR. The length of PQ is equal to length of QR. And the question is asking what is the relation between A vector, B vector and C vector. Relation between A vector, B vector and C vector. What is the relation between A vector, B vector and C vector? That means you have to say like this: A plus B is equal to C, or B plus C is equal to A, or A plus B is equal to 2 times of C, or B plus C is equal to 2 times of A. Something like that. You have to find out what is the relation between these three vectors: A vector, B vector and C vector. Now one thing you will notice that they are not forming a triangle. A vector, B vector, C vector are not three sides of a same triangle. A vector and B vector are the two sides of this triangle. Let's suppose this point is O. So for OPQ, A vector and B vector are the two sides. And third side is PQ, which is not a vector. And for OQR also, OB and OC are the two sides of triangle OQR, but QR is not a vector. So B and C are two sides, they are vectors. So how to solve this type of question? So we can assume something which is not given in question. So we can assume that. So this is the short trick here. How to use triangle law? How to use triangle law to find relation between A, B and C when they are not forming three sides of a triangle. So A vector, B vector and C vector are not forming a triangle, but still we can use triangle law. But still we can use triangle law. We can use triangle law. Still they are not forming three sides of a triangle. We can use triangle law. How to use that triangle law? So we know that P and Q are the points and this is a line segment. So we can assume this vector as PQ vector and we can put another arrow here. So this is QR vector. So we know that the vector has a tail Q and head at R, and for this vector the tail is at P and the head is at Q. Now you observe PQ and QR, they have same direction, and they have same magnitude. They have same magnitude because Q is the midpoint of PR. So PQ vector is equal to QR vector. PQ vector is equal to QR vector. Now we will write PQ vector in terms of A and B. So first we will find relation between PQ vector, A vector and B vector. So for that we will use triangle law. So use the triangle law. So now you can observe A vector and PQ vector are in same order. A vector and PQ vector are in same order. So we have A vector plus PQ vector and B vector is in opposite order. So we will write this as equal to B vector. So we have PQ vector is equal to B vector minus A vector. And similarly OQR. So for OQR, So for triangle OQR, we have OQ vector which is B vector and QR vector in same order and C vector is in opposite order. So we will write B vector plus QR vector is equal to C vector. The same order vectors are added and the opposite order vector is the resultant. So QR vector is equal to C vector minus B vector. Now we will substitute PQ vector here and QR vector over here. Using this, so we have PQ vector as B minus A and QR vector as C minus B. So we will substitute B vector minus A vector is equal to C vector minus B vector. Now take minus B vector on the left side. So this will become B vector plus B vector and minus A vector on the right side. So this will become A vector plus C vector. So that will be 2B vector is equal to A vector plus C vector, and this is the answer. This question is solved using triangle law. Now next short trick is from topic motion in one dimension. We also call it straight line motion. So how to use equations of motion to solve questions related to uniform acceleration along a straight line. So suppose the first equation of motion is v is equal to u plus at. Let's use this equation in a question. So question says a car changes its velocity from 1 meter per second to 2 meter per second, 2 meter per second in 3 seconds. Then find its velocity, in next 1 second. In next 1 second, what is its velocity? So we have a direct formula, v is equal to u plus at. And in these type of questions, most of the time the acceleration is uniform. So acceleration is uniform. Acceleration is uniform. So to solve questions based on motion along a straight line, definitely we have to draw a line. So let's draw a line. So we'll assume at A, B and C. Let's assume the velocity of car at A is 1 meter per second as given in question, and velocity of car at B is 2 meter per second according to question, and velocity of car at C, we have to find what is the velocity of car at C, that is V. Time taken from A to B is given in question as 3 seconds. Time taken from A to B is 3 seconds, and time taken from B to C is 1 second. A to B it is taking 3 seconds, B to C it is taking 1 second. So now we have to use V is equal to U plus AT. So one time we will apply V is equal to U plus AT from A to B, and second time you apply V is equal to U plus AT from B to C. If we use A to B, for A to B we will use V is equal to U plus AT as 2 is equal to 1 plus A into T, and time taken is 3 seconds. It is the time duration is 3 seconds, so we'll put 3 here. So 2 minus 1 is equal to 3A, or we have A is equal to 1 by 3. We got acceleration. Now use same equation V is equal to U plus AT from B to C. So from B to C we have V, that is final velocity. V is equal to U, which is 2. So V is equal to 2 plus A into T, and time taken from B to C is 1 second. So we have V is equal to 2 plus A, which is 1 by 3. So we get answer 2 plus 1 by 3, which will be equal to 7 by 3. So velocity at C is equal to 7 by 3. This is our answer. It is 7 by 3. Next short trick is based on second equation of motion, which is V square minus U square is equal to 2AS. Let's use this equation of motion. V square minus U square is equal to 2AS. A car has velocity 1 meter per second at an instant. After covering 2 meter distance along a straight line, its velocity becomes 3 meter per second. Find its velocity after next 2 meter. What is its velocity after next 2 meter? If acceleration is constant, so acceleration is given as constant. So again we can use equation of motion. V square minus U square is equal to 2AS. So to solve this question, to apply the shortcut method of V square minus U square is equal to 2AS, we have to consider a line. So this is a line segment. Let's consider point A. So the velocity at point A is 1 meter per second as mentioned in the question. And after covering 2 meter distance, say the particle is at B. At B, the velocity is 3 meter per second. And after covering next 2 meter, the velocity at C, suppose that point is C, the velocity is V. The velocity is V. Now, one time we will use v square minus u square is equal to 2as from A to B, and second time we will use v square minus u square is equal to 2as from B to C. So when you use from A to B, we get v square minus u square is equal to 2as, s is equal to 2 meter. Now B to C, we have v square minus 3 square is equal to 2as, s is equal to 2 meter. Look at these equations, right side term is 2as, here also 2as, s is same 2 and 2. So right hand side the quantity is equal. So we can say 3 square minus 1 square is equal to v square minus 3 square. So we have 9 minus 1 is equal to v square minus 9. So 18 minus 1 is equal to v square. So 17 is equal to v square. So v is equal to square root of 17. This is our answer. Let's use one more short trick in relative motion. We have an equation of motion v is equal to u plus at. So when we consider relative motion, it becomes v relative is equal to u relative plus a relative into t. So in short, we can say v relative is equal to u relative plus a relative into t. So when we have two cars in a question, or one is car and another is motorcycle, they have different accelerations, they have different velocities. Then we have to find what is the relative velocity after some time. So suppose in a question they are saying two cars A and B have accelerations 1 meter per second square and 2 meter per second square. Their initial velocities 1 meter per second and 2 meter per second. And the question is, find velocity of car B as seen from car A after 10 seconds. What is the velocity of car B as seen from car A after 10 seconds? Now here is a question. We will use V relative is equal to U relative plus A relative into T. So here relative means we are observing car B as seen from car A. As seen from car A. So we are finding velocity of B with respect to A. So that will be equal to initial velocity of B with respect to A plus acceleration of B with respect to A into time t. Now acceleration of B relative to A, it is given, B is given as 2, A is given as 1. So ABA, acceleration of B with respect to A, it will be AB minus AA, acceleration of A. So acceleration of B is given 2 and acceleration of A is given 1. So 2 minus 1 is 1. So relative acceleration of B with respect to A is 1 meter per second square. Similarly, initial velocity of A with respect to initial velocity of B with respect to A will be UB minus UA. So initial velocities of A and B are given. So for A it is 1 meter per second, for B it is 2 meter per second. So UB minus UA will be 2 minus 1, which is 1 meter per second. Now we will substitute relative acceleration and relative initial velocity in this equation. So we will get velocity of B as seen from A, or relative velocity of B with respect to A, is equal to 1 plus 1 into T. Now in the question T is given as 10 seconds. So our answer is 1 plus 10, and that will be equal to 10 meter per second. So we are using the concept of relative motion. Next short trick is based on bus and a person, bus and a passenger, bus and passenger. So the passenger was waiting for the bus, and the bus is coming with constant speed. Passenger want to catch the bus, so passenger will accelerate. So let's make one question. A passenger is waiting at bus stop, observes bus is going with constant speed of 2 meter per second. Passenger decides to board the bus find acceleration of person if it decides to board the bus in 5 seconds. So let's draw a diagram. Suppose this is a road and the passenger was standing on the road initially. He sees that the bus is going with constant velocity. Suppose this is the bus, it is going with constant velocity v. The velocity of the velocity of the bus is v, and initial velocity of the passenger is 0. The passenger is at rest initially. The moment the bus came in front of the passenger and the bus are at same point. The bus is going with constant velocity. Now to board the bus, to get inside the bus, the passenger has to run. but initial velocity is 0. So the person is accelerating. The person will accelerate. So after some time, the bus will be here and the passenger will be here. So they are again at the same position, because the person will catch the bus now, it will board the bus, it will jump into the bus here. But you observe the passenger velocity is changing from 0 to some value, but the velocity of bus is maintained constant. So what is same for both? What is same for both? You see, here the passenger and the bus are at the same position, but the passenger cannot board the bus because it is at rest. A person which is at rest cannot board a moving bus. Person can board the moving bus only when the person is in motion. So the person will accelerate. Person will accelerate. Let's suppose it will cover displacement s in the direction of motion of the bus. So if you consider bus, the acceleration is 0. So for the bus, we can apply s is equal to ut plus half at square, but the acceleration is 0. So for the bus, we can use s is equal to vt. The initial velocity of the bus is v and it is same throughout. So instead of u, we will write v here, s is equal to vt. So constant velocity into time, displacement is equal to vt for the bus. Now similar equation for the passenger. So for passenger, we will write s is equal to ut plus half at square. For the passenger, the initial velocity is 0 because it is at rest. And for the passenger, initial velocity is 0 because it is at rest and displacement is s. So we'll say s is equal to 0 plus half a t square. The displacement of passenger and the displacement of bus both are equal. So we will say half a t square is equal to vt. So acceleration of passenger will be given as 2vt by t square. One t is cancelled, so this will be 2v by t. So acceleration is equal to 2v by t. So we can consider it as a direct formula or the shortcut method to solve this type of situation. A person want to board a bus. Now the v, look at the question. The constant speed of the bus is given as 2 meter per second and the time is given as 5 seconds. So we will substitute it in this formula, 2v by t, we'll get our answer two into 2 by 5, that is equal to 4 by 5. So that is 0.8 meter per second square. Now the next short trick is based on falling. Now the next short trick is based on motion under gravity. When we drop some object like this, when we drop some object, initial velocity, gravity, this object is falling down. So it is covering some displacement in the downward direction. So the equations of motion which we are going to use is S is equal to ut plus half at square, where S is displacement, u is initial velocity, a is the acceleration, t is the time taken. Now in motion under gravity, the acceleration is given as minus g, so S will be equal to ut minus half gt square. Now imagine some object is falling. Initial velocity is 0. Initial velocity is 0. So this equation will become S is equal to minus half gt square. So the question says it is dropped, the ball is dropped or stone is dropped. So when something is dropped, initial velocity is 0. So immediately you can use this formula, S is equal to minus half gt square. Now let's use this in some questions. So first question says a ball is dropped find ratio of distance covered in first second and next 2 seconds. What is the ratio of distance covered in first second and next 2 seconds? So how to solve this question using this short trick, S is equal to minus half gt square. So let's draw a diagram. Suppose the ball or the stone is dropped from this level, so the initial velocity will be 0 and it is covering a distance x in the first second. So let's call this point is A, this point is B. So it is going from A to B in first 1 second. It is covering a distance x. Next it is going from B to C in the next 2 seconds. Suppose it is covering a displacement of y downward or the distance y from B to C. A ball is dropped from A, so initial velocity at A is 0. So we will use this equation, S is equal to minus half gt square from A to B, because this equation is applicable only when u is 0. So for A u is 0, so A to B we will use S is equal to minus half gt square, and next we will use it again for A to C. For A to C, u is 0. So let's write for A to B and A to C. So for A to B, the displacement is minus x. So minus x is equal to minus half g t square, which is 1 square, and A to C, for A to C, the displacement is minus of x plus y, which is equal to minus half g into total time from A to C, which is 3 seconds, 1 plus 2, 3 seconds. So this is 3 square. So x is equal to g by 2 into 1 square, and x plus y is equal to g by 2 into 3 square. So we have these two equations. Now we will divide x plus y by x, which is equal to g by 2 into 3 square by g by 2 into 1 square. That will be equal to 9 by 1. Now we can solve like this: x by x, which is 1, plus y by x, which is equal to 9, So y by x is equal to 9 minus 1, which is 8. So x by y is equal to 1 by 8. This is our answer. The distance covered in the first second and the distance covered in the next 2 seconds, the ratio is 1 by 8 or 1 is to 8. Finish, sir? No, recording only. Time. Up to what time I have to? It is recording only.
8, 9, 8, 10.
8:10. So
yeah.
finish or continue?
One second.
Once. Finish, sir. Okay. Almost 6.
Dinner, sir.
Okay, 6 to 7 short tricks I have finished.
6 to 7.
6 to 7. Yes.
Both English and
No. Only English.
only English.
Only English. Today only English.